A lot of minutes being played in the playoffs. Hydrate. We got guys playing 50 minutes in the playoff game. You got to hydrate.
Got to start with last night's Clippers Suns, Game 2. Here we go, 10 seconds left. Devin Booker gets his pocket picked by Pat Beverly. They slow it down, way down. Replay goes the Clippers' way, so they get the ball. Paul George fouled right away. He's at the line, up by 1. And misses the first, despite coming in making 89% from the line. Then, no. Misses the second. Paul George missing 5 free throws last night. So here we go. Under a second left to play. Jay Crowder on the inbounds finds DeAndre Ayton for the go-ahead alley-oop. It's an incredible finish. Less than a second left to play. And with that, the Phoenix Suns jump out to a 2-0 series lead. Here was the hero, DeAndre Ayton, after the win.
Best play of your life?
Yes. Yeah, the celebration and the reaction was a little shaky because I wasn't too sure what I did. I wasn't too sure if it counted. I didn't want to, be a blooper or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to, just get to the next play or the refs hurt and, confirm what it is. I was just so anxious. I was really stressed. It was a lot. I'm looking at the fans. I'm looking at the environment. It was a lot, but, that was my best play and, tried to embrace it.
I'm always confident at the free throw line. I've always been very successful in clutch moments at the free throw line. Tonight, I was just unsuccessful, extending the lead. So I'm not going to put too much on that. Fact of the matter is, we still were in position to win the ball game late in the game.
Okay, Brandon, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
What do you make of the final 90 seconds of last night's game?
Well, first, you got to go to the obvious. Absolutely devastated for Paul George. Playoff P went into playoff P, meaning he's been performing lights out the last couple games. He's been carrying his team since Kawhi went down. And then all of a sudden, you get in the biggest moment of your career probably, and you miss 2 free throws. He's right. Look it up. The dude has been sensational from the line his entire career and in the biggest moments. And you miss back-to-back free throws to win the game and tie the series up. That's what you got to start with. Look, the whole game for him wasn't a good game. Now, he's played well this series so far. He played, well, the first game, and then last series played phenomenal, stood up when Kawhi went down. But if you really look at that game, he didn't play well. Three-pointers wasn't falling, and even from the field, he just wasn't efficient. And then there was times, Nick, Wilds, if you check it out, I don't know if it's fatigue, but he was dribbling the ball off his leg. I mean, he just looked sloppy at times. Yep. There's times in the biggest moments where coach had to take him out because he was just fatigued or he just wasn't playing well. But in the final moments, he scored 9 of the last 13 for the Clippers. But then he missed the free throws. Ayton, Coach Monty Williams, it was almost as if, they knew CP3 was there. That was like a CP3 play. Crowder had an amazing inbound pass. Ayton was phenomenal. Ayton was able to get the ball and tap it in. And Ayton's been great, man. The last time we saw someone playing as efficient as Ayton was back in 2009 with Dwight Howard, 20 points, 10 rebounds. He did that 5 times in these playoffs. The last person to do that was Dwight Howard. So you got to give a lot of respect to Monty Williams and the Suns for just fighting through the adversity. Nick, I know you may have stronger feelings, but at the end of the day, that was a great game, man. That was a really good game from start to finish.
It was an amazing game, and it's great to have Brandon back, and I missed him yesterday, and it's unfortunate that Brandon, in his reintroduction to the audience, is that here's what Brandon just did. Hey, do you guys remember the movie Dark Knight Rises? There's the fake football game, Hines Ward's on the field, and Bane blows up the stadium. Brandon was asked his biggest takeaway from that game. He's like, well, there was a 3rd down conversion in the 2nd quarter. And it's like, dude, the stadium blew up. What happened last night in the NBA was the entire instant replay paradigm blew up in the NBA's face, and it must change immediately. First, if people didn't stay up to watch, the final 90 seconds took 33 minutes. And I am not complaining about that because I had somewhere to go. I didn't. I was in my house watching the game, playing online poker. The game could have gone as long as it wanted, didn't care. But what did we learn about NBA games in Game 7 Bucks-Nets? You know what really matters? Fatigue and conditioning. And you know what totally changes that paradigm? A free 30 minutes of rest. But that's not the biggest issue. On the inbounds play that Brandon is talking about, giving Monty Williams massive credit for, that happened after another needless replay, which gave the Suns a free timeout they didn't have. But there's no way that play happens if it's just ball out of bounds, inbound it, Crowder figure it out. It's because they got a free timeout thanks to the scourge that is instant replay. But that isn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the play we keep showing. Because Kevin Wildes, for the entirety of basketball history, that is not a close call. That is not a questionable call. That is an obvious call out of bounds on Beverly. And for the entirety of basketball present at every level, whether it's at Rucker Park, the Y, House of Athlete, Gonzaga, or your local high school, that's off the defensive player. And I'll go further. For all of NBA games right now, for the first 46 minutes, that's not a close or controversial call. That is off the defensive player. But through the misapplication of technology, we are turning the end of NBA games into Zeno's paradox, which is, well, if you walk halfway and halfway and halfway, how do you ever get there? Well, if he hit it out of bounds, but technically in the final second, it rolls off a guy's pinky, which we can only see because of frame by frame technology. Who's it off of? You got to get it right. Wildes, that isn't getting it right. That is getting it wrong. And something needs to be fixed now. Like, not in the offseason. Today, before Eastern Conference Finals Game 1, whatever rule you need to change to make this off Beverly needs to change, and the whole replay system needs to be thrown in the damn river and overhauled, because it's a disaster. It's a total disaster across all sports but tennis.
Okay, so first of all, great use of a prop. I never knew you had a basketball sitting by your side. I thought Brandon was the only guy with the football. You did an excellent job breaking it out. We've been on the show for about 2 years. Didn't know you had the basketball there. Here's the problem. And it's pretty simple, because I agree with you in spirit. If we're playing one-on-one and that happens, that's out on the defensive player. I want it to be out on Beverly, but it literally wasn't. So unless you're going to throw replay away 100% or make these non-reviewable, once it goes to the review, the referees have a responsibility to call it the right way. And I know we're talking frame by frame. And if you get down and look at this and look at an atom from, Devin Booker's pinky touched an atom from, the basketball. The counter argument to that is, and I'm with you in spirit, but the counter argument to that is this. Patrick Beverly made a great play. They weren't going to review it. Patrick Beverly knew it was out on Devin Booker, petitioned the refs to say, you got to check that. That was out on Book, and he got it right. So, look, Patrick Beverly made some great plays. Right. This was very smart. I think if he didn't petition the refs, they wouldn't have reviewed it. So I don't know what the answer is. The only answer I have is this, Nick, to try to sort of meet you halfway, because they're not going to get rid of replay. So we're just yelling at the clouds. There's too much. There's betting involved. The stakes are too high. They're never going to get rid of replay. The only solution I have is this. Would you be okay if you only could review replay at full speed? That's the only happy medium I can find.
No, wow.
That's a step.
It's the only. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead, Nick.
No,
I'm trying to come up with a solution.
Like, you can't put stipulations around replay. That's what replay's for. You want to be able to slow it down, speed it up. You want to be able to see different angles. Please, Nick, you have to decide. You sound like me every time we talk football. and there's some young guy doing some type of dance, you're like, oh, Brandon, the old man Brandon. Are you an archivist? Are you the historian on the show? Or are you want to be this young, innovative broadcaster? Like, you have to decide, because this right here is good for basketball.
Okay. Just like the Calvin Johnson catch was not good for football, just like when they added in baseball, hey, let's replay stolen bases. Sounds great. We'll see if he beat the tag. Oh, he did beat the tag. But it turns out for a millisecond after beating the tag, when he's standing up, he came off the base by this much. Now he's out.